Well, I've been playing Halo Infinite all week, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts around what we've seen so far in this beta. As someone who's been around with the franchise since the beginning, all I can say for 343's latest entry in the series is Halo's back. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. I've been kind of difficult or hard on 343. I have. I wasn't a big fan of 4. Didn't like Call of Halo 5. And I saw what happened with the Master Chief Collection when it first came out. Now, I will give them credit. They did fix Master Chief Collection. It just took a while, and yeah, I was one of the people who bought it when it first released and sat there trying to find just one match in Halo 2 at the time. It just took like 30 minutes, then half the time it would just quit out immediately after that. But Halo Infinite had a surprise drop on Monday. It was rumored to be coming out over the weekend, and we started to hear about it, but nonetheless, it was exciting to find out, wow, we can play it now. We don't have to wait till December 8th. Released under the guise of a beta. Let's be real. We're basically playing the game how it's going to be on release here in a couple of weeks. But still, I had a chance to play this game over the entirety of this last week with a bunch of different people, some from the Spawncast, some of my friends outside of YouTube, and I gotta say, I've had a blast with Halo Infinite. So I have a bunch of notes here that I've been taking as I've gone through the week based on a few things that I've seen, some things I think they can improve on, and then a lot of stuff, to be honest, that I just like. So let's start from the top here. You do have the Academy, of course, that you can go into. You can spend time practicing. We had the Academy with all of the flights, basically. Even when it wasn't online, you can still go in and try out different weapons and kind of get used to some of the mechanics and the aiming, all of that there. But outside of that, we do have 3 different playlists right now. We have Quick Play, we have Big Team Battle, and we have Ranked Mode. These all have a mixture of different game types like Stronghold, Oddball, Team Slayer, Capture the Flag. You jump in, it's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to be playing. There are also 10 different maps that are available right now, that being Aquarius, Bazaar. Bazaar is that level that a lot of people look at and say this appears kind of like Call of Duty, Behemoth, Deadlock, Fragmentation, which, if I had to take a guess, just playing on Fragmentation, I feel like that is their take on Valhalla or Blood Gulch, where you have 2 different bases and all the carnage in between, running between each base. And you have High Power, Launch Site, Live Fire, Recharge, Streets, which Streets is actually a lot of fun. It's small enough, and it's basically one big circle you can run around with, of course, the rocket launcher or the cinder shot or whatnot, the big power weapon right in the middle. Unfortunately, no map has like grabbed me completely to where I'm like, all right, here we go. We're jumping into the pit. We're jumping into Guardian. We're jumping into Zanzibar. Like, nothing like that yet. Aquarius pops up from time to time, and I'm okay with that level. Like I said, Streets is pretty fun. Just nothing over the top that I have ingrained in my mind is like, this is my favorite map. But again, I've only spent about a week with this game, and as we go along, more maps will be introduced, and there are probably some that will eventually stick out to me as my favorite. The overall feel of the game, I would say, is a heavier Halo 5 with certain acrobatics removed. As I said before, Halo 5 was the closest that the Halo franchise came to something like a Call of Duty, where you are doing all kinds of movement, and Master Chief feels much less like a tank and more like just a completely unarmored soldier running and vaulting and jetting all over the place. I just feel like 343 thought maybe if we made this feel like a Call of Duty sort of, we'll have people from those Call of Duty games come over and play it. I don't think that worked out with Halo 5, so I'm glad to see them go back to I don't say slower, but heavier. It still has different things like sprint, vaulting, and you can run and then crouch and slide, but it's not over the top like Halo 5. As I said with the flights when I gave my thoughts there, the guns, they punch pretty hard. They have a lot of impact to them, and that has to do with, for the most part, the sound effects that they have. I mean, you really do get a sense of your gun just connecting constantly when you are hitting someone with it. So that's really cool there. And for the most part, the guns across the board that we are already familiar with, I think are represented pretty well in Halo Infinite. The battle rifle feels a little weaker, but it still works fine. That's my go-to weapon whenever I can grab it. In ranked mode, you just always have one, so I'm good there. But otherwise, in quick play or big team, I'm always going looking for a battle rifle. But like the assault rifle, I feel like this is the strongest the assault rifle has ever been. Even at like medium range, it'll take people down. And I was a little surprised when I was first using it as like, maybe I should try to find an assault rifle. If I don't have one, I'm like, all right, where's the assault rifle? The fact that I'm thinking that tells me, yes, they did a pretty good job with the assault rifle. The pistol, I think, is balanced well in this one. It's not the Halo 1 pistol, okay? You're not going around and opting to pick that up over a sniper rifle, nothing like that. But what I think we're seeing here is them showing the pistol as a very good medium, even kind of short range weapon, because as your opponent gets further and further out, you'll be affected by the bloom that can come on pretty quick if you're trying to lay on that trigger as fast as possible. So it has that nice downside of not being the best long distance gun that it's been in the past with, well, Halo 1. The Needler is still devastating. I check this out every iteration of Halo because it started out as this joke gun back in the day, and it has quickly evolved into one of the most deadly weapons when you're in kind of closed quarters combat. If you're down a hallway and the other person has Needler, in this one especially, it's over. It is something else when you start getting hit with those needles. And even if you are hitting every headshot with a BR, there's a chance that those needles will get you as you get the last shot. I'm still playing around with some of the newer weapons that we have here. The Cinder Shot is one that I'm getting used to, but the Mangler, I actually really like the Mangler. It's the Banished take on the pistol, but I think it has a bit of range to it over the pistol right now. And when I fire it, it has like this arcing motion. I kind of like that. It's harder to get a headshot, but when you do, it hits hard. Like, it'll knock a shield down quick, and when the shield's gone, it's just about over with the Mangler. I like it more despite it being a bit slower, and it has that kind of that bladed edge to it, so when you get a melee, it just feels like it hits really hard. I don't know. The Mangler is the one that kind of sticks out to me right now, but as I said, I'll be getting more time with some of the heavier weapons. There's like a lock-on like missile gun that you can get where you're just shooting missiles all over the place, which is pretty cool. So for me right now, the Mangler is the one that I'm really drawn to. Big team battle is still as hectic as ever. It's not like how it was before where we call a big lag battle. For the most part, connections and all of this were fine across the board, minus some small outliers where someone, I guess, was host and would get kicked or anything there. But it's all over the place with big team battle, and I do enjoy that at times, kind of just jump in with a bunch of friends and have a blast. If you can fill up a lobby with 12 people, I mean, it is just absolute mayhem, and it gives you a chance to try out maybe some weapons or vehicles that you wouldn't otherwise. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You start, there's vehicles everywhere, you jump on what you want, and you just go. But the biggest thing that I found myself using in big team battle was that grappling hook. I just found so many different uses for this equipment pickup, and it really changed up the way I was thinking about game modes like Capture the Flag, whether it's infiltrating or even using the grapple shot to get to an enemy Spartan before they can score. There were a few times where that would happen. I felt like I was just out of reach, but then I had the grappling shot, hit them with it. I springboard to them, essentially being pulled, and then I would melee them, and that would be it. I would take them out, and I'd return the flag. It was just a lot of really cool ways to use it. Even boarding like a flying vehicle, it was one of the coolest things you'll do in this game. It feels like it's right out of an action movie with that grappling hook. There's also the spotting system where you aim at an area or an enemy, and for me, it's pressing up on the D-pad, and it works. The problem is no one uses it. I don't know if it's because it's out of the way. It's like up on the D-pad or something. You can do a lot to change up your controls, but when you are using the spotting system and pointing this out to your teammates, it makes things flow a lot better, especially in these very large skirmishes like a big team battle. But even in like ranked matches, I feel like it's very important to be able to do this easily. And maybe that's why I don't see it used as much, because it is out of the way. It's something you might not think to do immediately, but it does help quite a bit. I'd like to see 343 come up with different ways to get people more involved using that spotting system, and I think that actually comes down to the challenges. And this is something that started as my biggest criticism. It still kind of is a criticism because while they are working to correct it, it's still pretty obvious. The challenges. So progressing in Halo Infinite is you essentially completing these challenges, getting experience that then goes into a big experience bar that continues to fill up, unlocking different cosmetics or coatings in a battle pass. Now, the battle pass they have set up for $10. It's a free-to-play game. They're looking to make money somewhere. Obviously, this game exists to make money at the end of the day. That's why they all exist. So the battle pass at $10, I picked it up just so we could go through it, of course, and I figured I'd be getting my time out of it anyway, but it started out with some really annoying challenges, ones that I just didn't complete, playing hours and hours at a time and then maybe going up one level. And I would look through these challenges and they were weird. It was ones that I actually had to go online and look up and be like, what is a shock chain? How do you do that? And I think it's still on my challenges list. I had to reset one, but then sometimes it would kick in with another one that's like, I don't even know what this is exactly. What kind of gun is that? So I'd have to look it up. It was things that would kind of take you out of your way when you're playing a certain match. And that can be frustrating, especially when it comes down to something like a ranked match. Now, with ranked matches, there is an entire other ranking system outside of your level for, say, your battle pass. I started out after you do 10 matches as Platinum 5. Since then, I've worked up to Diamond, but something is interesting about this, and I'm starting to realize that the ranking system isn't necessarily just based on wins or losses. It's based on even how well you do in that match. There was a time where I went on this big losing streak, but I was doing really well in each match. I wasn't dropping in rank at all. When we would win, I'd actually shoot up pretty quickly. So I'm not sure how the ranking system works. 343 is probably not going to tell us exactly how it works because they could be concerned with it being exploited, but it is something I noticed, and I do get excited to play ranked matches, but only when you have a full party because I can't seem to catch a break. Every time I jump in with even one random person, they just seem to be AFK. I did mention that they are working to correct some of the issues around the challenge system, and they've already implemented those throughout this first week where they've made some challenges easier, some give more experience. Like you might get one that's complete 3 matches, and you get 250 experience, or complete 1 match, you get 50 experience. Or, hey, kill 5 enemy Spartans in a Slayer match. All right, that's probably going to happen most likely. So it's good to see them do that, but you still got weird challenges that don't necessarily work with the certain weapons you like to use. Sometimes that's good because it could get you to use a different weapon, me with the Mangler, for example. But I think they should also look into doing things like the spotting system. Hey, spot 10 unique Spartans. That's it, as you're playing in any of these games going forward, like cumulatively. That would at least get people using something that is legitimately useful for your overall team when you're playing in a game. A couple things they can work on here, though. The playlists, I hope they have more than just the ones we have now, because I would like to see like quick play split up, social games, and it goes into Team Slayer, skirmish, capture the flag, oddball, plant the bomb, all of those thrown into that. Team doubles, like there are a lot of things we're just missing. Maybe you want to do lone wolf, but there's no option for that right now. So that's something I would like to see, especially on the ranked side, because when I'm doing ranked, I don't necessarily want to do ranked capture the flag. Maybe one night I just want to do ranked Team Slayer. And I get it. They might say, well, we'd have to break this up and you'd have to do Team Slayer ranked matches 10 times just to get a rank. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's what I want to do. Also, I think it'd be cool if they did big community events for a weekend. Remember, this is a live service game, right? It's games as a service. So they have to keep people engaged and have people sign in consistently. And the weekends tend to be the time where you see the most people log in. So having a really cool community event where all of the scores throughout that weekend get added up and everyone works towards some big common goal that then just divvies out different armor and coatings, I think that'd be a lot of fun. But then the idea of a community tab, something like what we had with Halo 3, where there are screenshots that are taken and shared, and then there are also video clips and maps whenever Forge shows up, but that's voted on by the community, and it's an easy tab you go to in the game, and you'll see the different really cool things that people have been able to do in the game. Maybe it was a really cool triple kill where everyone was like in one line and someone took them all out with a sniper bullet. Maybe something really fun happened with the grappling hook or a fusion core that got thrown across the map and just happened to hit 4 people. A lot of things were kind of spread around in Halo 3 that even turned into full-on memes and obviously game types. So I would like to see a whole community center kind of worked out inside of Halo Infinite where we can share this stuff and vote on it. And then obviously more maps. I figure those are coming as we go along. This is something that is going to be a very long-term project. I'm sure it'll span the entirety of this generation and probably into the next generation, but still having more and more updates for different maps and even some returning ones that we really enjoyed throughout the years of Halo would be cool. Like, can we get a version of the Pit in Halo Infinite? That would be certainly one I would look forward to and be very excited about for its reveal. But for the most part, looking around at Halo Infinite, I'm very happy with what 343 has presented here. From a gameplay perspective, there's still a lot to build out when it comes to content and necessarily things to do in this game, but I think they're off to a great start. My biggest concern is that 343 would botch the most basic part about this game, and that is making it feel like a Halo game. Well, what they've presented here with Halo Infinite, I think fits right in with one of my favorite Halo games, that being Halo 3. So I say you should give it a shot. It's free to play. Like, why not? And all I can say right now, looking back at this past week that I've spent with the game, is Halo's back. But let me know what you guys think about Halo Infinite down in the comments. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.